Hey there, y'all. This is Jack, and today we're discussing Record of Ragnarok Chapter 90. And I'm gonna come out and say it already, guys. This chapter, it was a banger. 10 out of 10, I gotta say. Holy freak, this chapter was so good. Dang, it's crazy, especially some of the commentary we get from Kojiro. Holy freak, man. Well, you all know the drill. If you like content like this, consider subscribing. I greatly appreciate it. Let's just dive right into the review, shall we? So yeah, we see Susanoo in his stance as he's ready to swing his sword, and it's freaking crazy. As even Soji knows what like he's something's up right here, right? And everyone's just wondering like what is up with that bizarre stance that he's taking. And Susanoo all he says is, "Isn't that super cool, Okita? The ace up my sleeve." And Sojo's getting ready as we get some other Japanese people talking about how the stance that we see Susanoo is very similar to a painting way back in the day of Susanoo taking that stance, but of course that stance is not similar to any actual known swordsmanship of martial artists. That even a Kojiro and Musashi take notice of that. And they say the most similar thing they could think of it is Ian, which is the sword style of when your sword is sheathed, and when your opponent attacks, you unsheath it to block and attack them, and then sheath your sword back in. And that's probably the closest it could be. But of course, Musashi says, "Well, that's clearly not it." But Susanoo's just some that he's clearly got something up his sleeve. And then we see Susanoo's siblings. It's so cool. We see Tsukiyomi, Amaterasu, and the creation god of Japan, Izanagi. So it's cool we're seeing Izanagi for the first time as he just laughs and says, "Now, what are you going to do?" As yeah, because Tsusuno he could literally one shot Soji at this point if Soji's not careful enough, which we do see that he's barely capable of dodging. As Soji goes in for an attack, and it's very interesting because we see like an area where like there's like a bubble around Susanoo where it's like Susanoo's area of attack, and Soji thinks to himself, "All right, I'll just go in." But as soon as Soji goes in, he takes a step back. He just starts doing that multiple times all around the dome around Susanoo. I guess to try to bluff him out, but of course this does not work whatsoever because Soji just says, "Amazing. Just look at this technique. I can see that there are no openings for me to strike." And he's right. He is freaking right, Soji. Because Susanoo says, "As expected of Okita Soji, you are fearless approaching. But against this, any attempt to reach distance is useless." As he takes a step forward and Soji realizes he's in range of an attack. And it doesn't really matter because Soji could have been still a little far away. But it doesn't matter because Susanoo does a massive strike that Soji just barely manages to not even like block, but he like gets sent down to the ground. He sends himself to the ground because he is not able to block this whatsoever. As the technique is called secret technique, reverse heavenly demon Anomagahashi. I'm so sorry, Japan, if I mispronounced that. And just like in classic anime fashion, the slash just slashed all the buildings that Susanoo struck his sword out, and we see all the buildings just come crashing down, which surprises everyone. Even Kondo is just so worried about Soji, and Soji just looks up and he sees that yeah, the city behind him is all leveled. It all just got leveled right behind him. So yeah, this is getting very very intense here. As Hurst, best Valkyrie, is just shocked at what's happening here, and Kojo just says, "That was just a strong as fast swing of his sword." And she's like, "What? Just with a swing of his sword?" And Kojo was like, "Good grief." She's a flabbergasted. And he essentially goes into saying that Susanoo, when he swung his sword, essentially not just the power of his sword, but the strike of the air that came from the sword too, cut everything. So yeah, and even Kojiro himself, it's very interesting what he says. As he said, perhaps for us humans, an unbelievably a long time, 100, 1,000 years, or even more. Perhaps he has swung his sword relentlessly. It must have taken a deep love for the sword, and that sword's love in return in order to achieve such a feat. So Kojo can't do this. There's no way he could be able to do this because we know he's very, very good at copying technique. But even Kojo seems to kind of confirm that, yeah, he can't do that. He won't be able to do this a technique whatsoever because Susanoo spent, who knows, as he says, hundreds, thousands, or even more years to hone this technique. And this technique is just absolutely insane. This is like when we've seen other animes, you know, when anime characters swing their sword, like so many things get cut down. I think no, I know with Ragnarok the way they justified it here and everything we've seen with Susanoo, they justify on how it works and why it works, and I love that so much. Like you really like they don't have to do this, right? They don't have to go into so much detail on how why this works, but the author, the mangaka, the scriptwriter, and the author both go into why that is and why they put so much effort into their own story on making this work and why it makes sense. I like it. I mean, yeah, granted, it's not the most detailed thing ever, but they do put effort into it and it makes sense with everything that we know within the story. And I just love that so much. And let's go back to the story. Sorry, I got stuck praising. It's gonna be a short video. I mean, this is mostly just fighting, some dialogue, but yeah. But then we see Soji standing up, and he is happy. He is very, very happy as he says, "I am glad that I accepted this fight to the death after all. Thanks to you, it feels like I'm burning more and more and more." As similar to Demon Slayer, where we see his heart pumping faster and faster, making his blood circulate throughout his entire body faster and faster. We see his eyes turn red as we hear, "I think I can do this." And then we cut to Soji's allies, and they're saying, "Hey, Soji's acting weird. His eyes are glowing redder than usual. Just look at this, a demon." As you see Soji just burning up, aura just emitting from him. As Susanoo just smiles and says, "I am surprised to think there was something beyond Onigo, the demon child." As the narration goes on, the sword god knew that he has awakened his demon child. No, the true sword demon within. As he says, "I'm pumped up." And Soji says, "I'm gonna break you." End of chapter. Good chapter. I loved it. So freaking good, man. Susanoo, Lobo, great. Soji, Lobo, and great too. Freak, man. And yeah, I'm still on Team Soji. I can see Susanoo winning though. But hopefully, Soji is gonna be able to just start destroying Susanoo, right? I want him to win so bad. I really do. Because Soji, I really like this guy. Again, but we gotta do another backstory for him, unless we're gonna skip his because since he's originally appeared in another manga, which possibly goes into his backstory, which again I still need to read. I still need to find a site where they translate it into English fully. But yeah, get another great chapter. Just so hyped, and just seeing even at this point, Susanoo still praising Soji, just saying, yeah, "Okay, yeah, there's more beyond it. I am hyped. Let's do this. Let's continue fighting." And Soji just again happy that he could just go all out for the first time in his life because he had tuberculosis, I believe, and he died. He had a weak body, but now he has a healthy body. He's gonna fight Susanoo with everything he's got, and this is the first time he's more than likely ever been in this form. So very cool, very happy to see. So yeah, if you listen to this far, I appreciate it. And yeah, let me know who you guys think's gonna win. Still on Team Soji. I won't be surprised if Susanoo wins. If they get a tie, I'll be okay with that too. Anyway, y'all take care and have a good one. Later.